So brands are facing tons of challenges these days. The regulatory environment is constantly evolving. Regulations such as GDPR, which has long since existed, but then you have other regulations like new ones, DMA, DSA, and so on. In the US, of course, we have multiple state laws which are coming into effect this year, are already in effect, obviously in California and others. So it's a very complicated environment, and it's evolving all the time.
And so tell me about Ad Selection API. How can it help advertisers improve targeting and performance?
Yeah, so I think the central aim of advertisers or the advertising industry generally is how can we continue to personalize and reach the audiences that we want to reach? So how can brands reach their consumers in a way that maintains trust throughout the entire user journey, right? So we've seen in study after study that personalization is incredibly effective, and that's why brands need to do that to be relevant moving forwards. But trust is also key, and it's a key component, and it needs to be maintained. Now, Ad Selection API, the way that Ad Selection API works is that it enables personalization or finding relevant audiences in a way that maintains or ensures or guarantees even that personal data or personal information of the consumer is protected at all times. So that's managed by the browser. So in this case, it's Microsoft Edge that maintains their personal information and ensures that it doesn't go anywhere, and but also ensures that advertisers can reach the consumers that they're trying to reach. So brands can connect with consumers.
Okay. And what about the question of how advertisers can balance personalization with the growing demand for data privacy? What kind of advice can you provide or insight on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be aware of all of the challenges around the privacy landscape. I think you need to make sure that at a minimum you're adhering to local laws globally. So that means having things like consent banners and making sure that the partners that you're working with know what the user has chosen in terms of their consent or privacy choices. So making sure you're buttoned up there. And we've just released some features to help with that. So we've rolled out consent mode in Europe, for example, and we're working with banners like CookieBot and others to make sure that that's as easy for brands as possible to convey that information. But also really diving into the way that advertising is going to work in the future. So embracing things like privacy enhancing technologies, PETES or PETs for short. Ad selection is built on privacy enhancing technologies. Other things like you might have heard of clean rooms and so on. Those are all privacy enhancing technology based, and they're complicated things to understand and read about, but ultimately they will help brands reach consumers in a way that maintains user trust, as I said, and so they can really lean in and be sure that they're privacy safe. Yeah.
And how is AI reshaping the future of personalization?
Well, it's going to completely revolutionize the way that personalization works from start to finish, right? So at Microsoft, we're leaning very heavily into the AI space, as everyone will know by now, and it's our ambition to embed Copilot, our AI tool, into everything we do. I mean, personalization is not new in advertising specifically, which is where I work, but you'll see in the coming years the way that Copilot built on LLMs and so on will revolutionize not just the way that brands connect with their consumers and optimization algorithms, but also the way that brands get recommendations for how they should reach their consumers and how they can create creatives, and they can have that kind of personal buddy, companion-like information or advice as they build their campaigns, which should help the whole, because ad tech is famously very complicated, but with the incorporation of these new tools, simplifying the workflow and making sure brands reach their consumers will be much, much easier in the future.